Eruvin Perek Zayin, Mishnah Yud. What can you make an eruv with? And we're going to talk about here eruvei tchumin. We'll see in a second exactly what we're talking about. B'chol me'arvin u'mishtatvein. You can make an eruvei tchumin with anything, any kind of food. Excuse me. Chutz min hamayim u'min hamelech, except for water and salt, which are not types of foods. Divrei Rabbi Eliezer. So Rabbi Eliezer says, when we're talking about eruvei tchumin, you can use anything you want. You don't have to use, you can use figs, dates, olive oil, whatever you want, as long as it's not water or salt, which are not food, says Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Yoshua Omer, Kikarhu eruv. Rabbi Yoshua says, no, you don't need a whole loaf. So actually what the Bartenura explains is that there's something interesting going on, that the topic switches. So he says, we're talking about eruvei tchumin, you can use anything you want. Umihu, but b'chol ma'arvin, this term, kol ma'arvin, de amar Rabbi Eliezer, hacha, Rabbi Eliezer says here, la'atuye eruvei chatzerot, shema'arvin bepat prusa. So now we switch topics and say, okay, eruvei tchumin, you can do anything you want. And that's pretty much acknowledged. But, says Rabbi Eliezer, that for eruvei chatzerot, remember, in the courtyards, you can even use that we said, ein ma'arvin ela bepat. We said you could do it with pot. So Rabbi Eliezer says here, you could even use pat prusa, sliced bread. It could be part of a loaf. Ve'ein tzarich kikar shlema, and you don't need a whole loaf. So let's read the Mishnah again. We'll understand it. B'chol me'arvin u'mishtatfin, you can make an eruv tchumin with anything, and you can make it shituf mevuot with anything, but an eruv chatzerot, remember what we said you had to use with pot. Bakol, you can use any kind of pot. Divrei Rabbi Eliezer, and except for, and with the other things you said, the other types of eruvin, chutz min hamayim min hamelech, divrei Rabbi Eliezer. Okay, you can use anything to make your eruvei tchumin. But eruvei chatzerot that we said, eruvei chatzerot was pat prusa. And then Rabbi Yoshua Omer, Rabbi Yoshua says, kikarhu eruv. No, you have to have a whole loaf in order to make an eruv. Why? Food is food. What's the difference if you have sliced bread or not sliced bread? Again, let's look at the Bartenura. V'tama mishum eva. The reason is because of eva, hatred, discord. Sheba'im b'nei chatzer lidei machloket. Because people in the chatzer are going to come argue. Lo amar, ani notein shlema, v'hu notein prusa. What? I give a whole loaf of bread. I buy Siemens chalas. That's a Detroit reference. But I give a whole challah, and he gives a piece of bread? No way. And so therefore, Chazal said, therefore Rabbi Yoshua said, Kikarhu eruv, you need a whole loaf. Afilu ma'afeh se'ah v'hi prusa. You made a loaf of a se'ah, huge loaf of bread, and you cut it and you gave half of that. It's not a quantity thing. Ein ma'arvin ba, no half breads, no sliced bread. Similarly, kikar be'isar v'hu shalem. A kikar the size of an isar, a tiny coin, but it's a whole kikar. Ma'arvin bo. You can make an eruv out of it. So the Bartenura says here, it's interesting. Ma'arvin bo, you can make an eruv. Notnina oto be'eruv im shar kikarot. You can add it to the pile of the chatzer. Ubilvad shu kulam kigro geret l'chol echad ve'echad. That eruv, that small loaf, is not big enough to make an eruv on its own. That's the understanding. You can use it towards the eruv to make the minimum shiur. But he notes, V'rambam peiresh ti kikar shalem ki isar. When we say kikar shalem ki isar ma'arvin bo, that's good. Livado, that's enough by itself. L'chol b'nei chatzer ve'ein zarich shiur, that's enough. Meaning the Rambam says this Mishnah is pshuto kemashma'o. Kikar be'isar v'hu shalem. If you have a whole loaf, once you get the whole loaves, that's enough. Ma'arvin bo, you can make an eruv with it. We'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, as always, email me and we'll dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a good day.